Quick lesson in unattractive behavior. As a man, if you want to make yourself less attractive, wear one of those little stickers on your shirt that says, I voted. It will instantly make you just a little less attractive, like 5%, maybe even 80%. That's an ick-inducing behavior to put an I voted sticker on your shirt. I don't know why that is, but I highly recommend that you never wear one of those if you're a man trying to be more attractive. We're going to talk about the election today just a little bit on the University of Smooth. We don't have a political science class at the University of Smooth. The middle of the Midwest is a fairly politics neutral environment, but there's some good intersexual meat on that bone. Pun intended, maybe pun not intended. I don't know. We're just freewheeling this a little bit. It's 2.5 weeks out from the next presidential election, 2024, Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. Men, invisible men, men trying to become more attractive in your personal life. If you are political observers, you may have noticed that something is happening during this election that hasn't happened in what feels like decades. I'm not a historian, I don't go back that far, but my own personal memory, I cannot remember the last time Democrats were trying really, really hard to kiss the ass of male voters. They see something's up. It feels like one of these things that was building and building and building and building, and then it happened all at once. They had been gradually making men feel less and less welcome, especially white men, but men in general, less and less welcome in their party. And then all of a sudden, 2024 hits and they're like, where are the guys? Oh, wait, like Trump is beating Harris or any other Democratic opponent by like 20 points in the male vote. I'm guessing, I'm not quite sure. All I'm saying is that a lot of men have, whether they deliberately did this or just found themselves doing it casually or subconsciously, they drifted over to the right side of the political spectrum. It may or may not have anything to do with policy views, but we all felt a little less welcome on the left. I have a rather liberal perspective on a number of things, but I did exactly as a lot of men did and drifted rightward based on the environment and based on not feeling all that welcome. So now here we are. We are having our asses kissed by a party that kind of told us to go fuck off for a long time. And plenty of us did not fuck off. Not me personally. I went and fucked off when they told me to fuck off. But some of you guys, you may have stuck with it. You may dislike one candidate over another. That's perfectly fine. I'm not here to advise anybody to vote any particular direction. I drifted one direction based on how I felt my presence was perceived by one party over another. That's about it. Couple of things to keep in mind, even if the election result in a couple of weeks is one that you've been looking forward to for perhaps 4 years. I strongly suspect that Trump will get elected, and a lot of men are going to be glad to see that result happen. Guys, if that's you, congratulations. I'm telling you now though, your life, especially as it relates to dating, fucking, and having relationships, it will not change. The current political climate, even if both political parties start to prioritize men with their policy initiatives and their party platforms, it will take decades, if it even happens at all, for those preferential winning formulas to filter down to you or me or your brother. It doesn't happen overnight. It may be a positive development in political discourse that men are finally being treated with respect for the first time in a long, long time by at least one side of the aisle. I would actually argue that the other side of the aisle didn't really do that good of a job of treating men with respect either, except for that one dude with orange hair. I felt like he treated men with respect. But we're not here to get into any of these issues. Second point about this election result. If you're a frustrated man, it may go your way if you support Trump. There are most likely some young and really attractive Kamala Harris supporters. Those supporters may bend over backwards to try and win you over to voting for her. They will not, now or ever, bend over forward for an unattractive man to save their lives or to save their favorite politicians' lives. No matter what happens in this election, women will still not want anything to do with unattractive men. Women may come out on the short end of the stick with this election. They are still going to want attractive men only. And by the way, if you've been following our content and you understand how female attraction works, then you will know that most women, if they have an attractive man in their life, they're more than likely going to vote for whoever he votes for, whether it's Trump or Harris. I'll conclude with one personal anecdote about how I have viewed this process over the last 10 years or so. We'll just call it the Trump era. I was not a fan of Trump leading up to the 2016 election. He was not my guy. In fact, I disliked him strongly. After he won, I became a big fan of former President Donald Trump. And throughout the 4 years that he was elected, I lived and died with every single culture war on Twitter, on social media, in the news. I was sucked into all of it. When he lost, I was finally able to decompress from everything that had been happening in politics. And as soon as I did, I was forced to focus on what I wanted out of my life. When I did that, I had a quote unquote midlife crisis or unplugging or come to Jesus moment or whatever you want to call it. That was long overdue for me. The live and die by politics lifestyle distracted me from so many issues that were going on in my life that I needed to address. So I was relieved, even though the candidate I wanted did not end up serving out the last 4 years, I was able to take advantage of that time to build my own value. If you follow politics, if you follow culture, if you follow all of these massive social issues in our society, that's perfectly fine. But we recommend, if you want to be attractive, to build your own value. If you spend all day long on Twitter or the news, living and dying with politicians, all you are doing is building their value and the media company's value. Focus on building your own value. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe if you want to throw some hate in the chat. I get it. We went a little controversial on this episode, but we had some important things to say for how you need to conduct your life if your priority is to be attractive. Thanks for listening.